Hello? Is this thing working? It is? Huh. And they called my cross-dimensional communicator a fool's errand. If you can hear this, I'm Zito, a transmuter and an official member of the Esoteric Order of Aryan. I have been tasked to show a new group of adventurers the ropes in regards to being a member of the Impetupicness. What you are listening to is our story. New stories are recorded every Sunday and released on the following week. If you enjoy our stories, please consider to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for important bits and future stories. This is a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign set in Eberron, a pulp fantasy setting created by Keith Baker. Oh, and the traveler would appreciate it if you would not forget to also follow us on Facebook and Twitter for any updates and news regarding the podcast. And now, let the story continue. May he have mercy on us all.
The room reeks of rot, and the air feels thick and heavy. As you lift yourself off of the floor and glance around the goblin tenement, you see that the walls have all but disintegrated around you. All that remains are the studs. Staring out in the distance, the thick mist that once gripped the city is now gone. Instead, you see the dilapidated remains of the many titanic towers of the city, stretching up like skeletal fingers into the gray sky. As you make your way downstairs and pass through what remains of the goblin tenement, unrecognizable sounds echo throughout the district. You see pale and shriveled humanoids milling about the street, a mournful look on their faces. The shriveled forms mill about a staircase made of bones, arcing up into the gray sky towards one of the dilapidated towers. A shrouded figure beckons to you from the base of the stair.
Okay, I'm going to walk on over towards it. Identify yourself. Who are you?
I am but a humble traveler in this realm. Greetings, bearer of the Keeper.
Where am I? What realm is this?
You are in the realm of death, the realm of Dolur.
The realm of death. Did I die?
You are between You are neither dead nor living. The thread of your existence is taut, the razor skimming on the edge. The soul. You are summoned by the Sovereign of Death and Decay.
Very well. Take me to them.
You must ascend the staircase to meet the Opener, the Guardian of Gates, Karak, the Final Guardian, Rushemme, Tarant.
And the shrouded one extends an arm, and you see a skeletal hand poking out from underneath this moldy fabric, and it gestures towards the stairway. And as you look at the stairway, every single step appears to be constructed of several skulls of many different types of individuals, creatures, all meshed together held within a framework of femurs and other bones. And each step the next is similar but unique in its composition.
Very well. I ascend.
Good journey, fellow traveler. May Kol Tarant be kind.
Thank you.
As you begin to ascend, you hear the wails of the shriveled and pale forms as you take a step one after another up this horrible, macabre staircase made from the bones of others. Glancing around the district of Malian's Gate, you see the remnants of what used to be the buildings and the base of the towers crumbling. But you don't see that familiar mist that has been gripping the city. And this opposite, this sister to the realm that you were once in, is familiar and alien all in the same. You continue to ascend. Looking off in the distance, you see massive ring, wreathed in flame, ghostly blue birds, enormous creatures, skeletal, their wings leathery, devoid of feathers, and missing chunks and sections, like Swiss cheese, flapping all the same in their unlife, passing between the many towers. You continue to ascend up, 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 and watch as one of the large creatures swings down, the size of a sky coach, and snatches one of the others out of the air, and you watch as they tumble down, down, down into the misty valley below that separates the wards. You continue up the stair for what seems like forever, your legs heavy, but you don't feel tired. The air thick and heavy, but you don't draw breath in a way that is familiar to you. You feel hollow. And as you continue to ascend the stairs, you continue to feel hollow. And looking around this somewhat narrow 10-foot wide staircase with no railings, you can feel a bit of vertigo staring out into the chasm below. Finally, after what seems like forever, the staircase ends at the top of one of the towers. The familiar facade of the tower is gone, blasted away. All that remains is a pedestal at the center of this expansive tower. Ahead of you, 50 yards, you see this pedestal. A strange object is suspended, hanging above, twirling, swirling. It appears to be a weapon, a hilt made of bone, with two amethyst dark purple blue blades that extend out and curve at the end. A single edge on either blade, twin blades, extending out from the hilt. An elaborate bone scabbard on the end. It twirls within a green mist, arcane energy crackling. And as you stand at the edge of this facade, you hear a voice booming, seemingly from everywhere.
Approach.
I'm going to walk forward.
As you walk across the top of this tower, this dilapidated structure, you see many strange corpses. Corpses of humanoids that seem familiar, some that do not seem familiar. The closer you get to the pedestal, the piles of bodies get thicker and more drawn together, until along this pathway that leads you to this pedestal, you just see walls of corpses, and you smell decay, and you can hear the sounds of squirming maggots and flies. And there is this horrible mist of miasma, this black and green mist that emanates from the corpses and rises up into the air above you. Glancing up into the sky, these gray, sunless sky, this cloudy filter light, no shadows, no direct sunlight. As you get closer to the pedestal, another voice, same as before, echoing everywhere.
A gift.
For what?
The voice pauses for a moment, and then once again you hear,
Dark purpose. Reap. Sow. A gift.
I'm a little bit concerned by this, but after thinking about it, I'll reach out and take the blade.
as you reach out, the strange weapon, so similar to your Keeper's Fang, suddenly leaps into your grasp, and you feel a vibration in your hand and your fingers taut. Every muscle and tendon is taut into your neck. And you hear a voice and a baleful laughter.
Good.
And then you begin to hear another noise. The sound of wings. And a growling, throaty growl. In the distance, and off hundreds of yards away from you, you see this enormous skeletal dragon. Its form wreathed in green flame that seems to fill the negative space between its ribs. Chunks of its body covered in patches of scales. The scales are blackened and ashened. The wings, leathery Swiss cheese patchwork. Enormous. The creature swoops down overhead and lands with a boom in front of you.
What do you want?
The voice, as you heard once before, booming everywhere.
You have been chosen. My Samael. You will reap.
The voice now begins to get less and less hoarse, less and less echoey everywhere, and seems to localize now from the throat of the dragon.
Samael. The gift from Gath. took, knowing where it would lead you, to me. You have reaped souls. You have taken lives and sent me soldiers. Fill my ranks. Become more powerful. Slay those. Use my implement. And the rewards will be many.
You not only intend to destroy anything that's evil with this, correct?
Good. Evil. Such simple concepts. It is of no matter to me. I am eternal. I have seen both. It matters not where the soldier comes from, only that they fill our ranks.
Were you there in the first stage?
I am eternal.
Then tell me, does evil truly exist? Or does it exist in everything?
I oversee all manner of domains. Death, decay, greed, hunger, pact, and of course, what you would call evil. I am the hunger in the dark. I alone waylay dead souls on their way to Dolor. Once I have my clutches in a soul, they may never escape.
So anything evil that I destroy will be sent to you, where you will hold it forever.
That is the way.
Very well. I'll accept your gift, and I will champion your cause. Make sure you come good with those rewards. I'll need every bit of power I can get to defeat my enemies, but I will defeat them.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yes, I will.
You are on your way to the realm of the dead before you chose my implement. Souls beholden to your organization join it upon death. Many.
Can you tell me anything about before I became a paladin? Anything that happened to me before the morning?
The massive skeletal dragon draws a bit closer to you now, and you see its eyes are pale and whitish blue. And its mouth is hovering open just a bit. And this horrible stench of its breath, this cloud of flies, sort of bursts out of its mouth as it roars.
I am aware. I know which you seek. This is dangerous knowledge. Are you sure you wish to know?
Yes, I do.
Do you know what it is?
That I do not know.
The morning, as it is called by mortals, is a scar on the soul of the world. It is an unnatural event. It is not the first time. The morning is the second of two events. The one that you were a part of set the tumblers loose of the seals that hold the enemy at bay. The enemy of all realms. The outsiders. Those who exist beyond. You were once something else. Something more than you are now.
But what? What was I?
You are the last surviving son.
Of what?
You are a descendant of Galifar, reincarnated in this form. You have tasted death before. You are saved from the morning. This knowledge will haunt you, will draw you to the enemy. For
I
the
disagree.
knowledge.
It will haunt my enemies, not me.
The massive skeletal dragon now, its neck begins to ascend, and it shakes out its wings.
It is time, Samael, sole surviving son of Syr. It is time for you to return and make way. Make way for the great coming.
Very well. Send me back.
The dragon leans forward, opening its massive skeletal jaws, and a blue, baleful light emits as it roars. and emits this blue flame that catches you and seems to just erase you from existence within this plane. And your vision goes dark. And all sound ceases. And your eyes, you can feel the light suddenly burning your eyes, even with your lids closed. And you can hear a murmuring, the sounds of your companions. And you feel a bit of weight on your chest. And with your eyes still closed, your hand reaches up and touches the hilt of the Keeper's falchion. And your eyes snap wide open. And that's where we're going to end. When we last met, the characters collected themselves following the battle in the mausoleum. The group then headed back to Mr. R's carriage and made plans to head to Warden Tower to meet Brunhild's contact. On the way, Keller Vazar of the Esoteric Order of Orion contacted the party via Sending Ring and asked them to look into a member of the order that was behaving strangely. On the way back, the party observed a large walking tree creature attacking what turned out to be a group of hostile undead. The massive creature turned its attention towards the party and began stomping in their direction. Byron approached the creature and healed its injuries, befriending it. The creature identified itself as Brindlenut, a guardian treant. It then detailed the current problem with the rise of necromantic presence in Halden's tomb. Many of the guardian treants had apparently fallen to corruption and now resided around the source of the undead activity. The group left their new friend, promising to return and help with the undead threat, and continued on to Warden Tower. Before getting too far away, the characters flagged Brindlenut down once again and inquired if the treant had observed activity at Garloth Museum. The treant mentioned observing humanoids in red cloaks with red spirals on their foreheads heading into and out of the tomb. Brindlenut explained that the strange group then headed back towards Sharn. The characters continued on to Warden Tower and met with Istrid Horn, a dwarven woman with ties to the Beauramar clan. Istrid then asked the party to hide her from the watch for a while, promising to pay the party handsomely for their trouble. The party agreed to Istrid's terms and vowed to meet at the manor later on. The characters then utilized their contacts in the Order of Orion to track the Red Cloak strangers. The Order's artificer, Stone, informed the group that the individuals wearing the red cloaks had been observed in the lower wards of Sharn, specifically around Malian's Gate in Lower Dura. The characters then headed back towards the city and descended into the goblin tenement district of Lower Dura. After meeting a shifty goblin, the characters were led towards a rundown tenement building. The party observed a rudimentary red spiral design on a bit of tarpaulin hanging out of a window on the upper level. The group then approached the building and encountered goblins infected with Dalkir symbionts. A battle ensued, revealing more symbionts infesting the building. Upon destroying the creatures, the characters discovered dismembered corpses of goblins and what appeared to be human children littering many of the rooms. Byron, Nicholas, and Samael then headed upstairs and found the apparent source of the symbionts, two squatters named Volkar and Erlaster. The men wore dirty red robes and bore red spiral scars on their foreheads. After a brief interrogation, the characters discovered that the men had sold the Stone of Galore to a necromancer living under a wig shop in Callestan. The men were dealt with accordingly, and the group destroyed what appeared to be the source of the symbiont presence. The party then found racks of red robes in a nearby chamber, and Samael attempted to detect evil within. Suddenly, a strange weapon emerged violently from the paladin's chest, and Samael collapsed to the floor.
MIL?
Oh my gosh. Oh no.
Hey Byron, MIL's on the floor. You do anything like what you do?
Kneels next to him and kind of checks his vitals.
Can I see what?
Samael is currently laying down in the chamber where you found the racks of red robes, and you can see that besides the odd weapon that is laying on his chest that resembles the dagger that Samael has been using for quite some time now, he has a large exploded section of the front of his armor, which appears to have where the weapon erupted from, and he's laying on the ground now with his eyes closed.
Feeling his vitals, is he breathing? Is his heart beat?
You can make a medicine check.
Alright.
He appears to be breathing. It's a cursory glance. It looks like his chest is moving up and down.
Have I ever encountered this in my studies to understand what this might be?
Make an intelligence check.
Nope. That's a 5.
You have never encountered swords erupting from people's chests before. Oddly enough, you think that would be something someone would talk about.
I'm gonna flick the weapon off of his chest over to the corner.
Okay.
Using the edge of my bow, not touching it. Sorry, you think you could heal him?
I think I can, but there might be a bigger problem here.
What do you
Please get
mean?
him behind so we don't have to carry him or find out what's going on.
Well, just casted Detect Good and Evil, and I don't know, this doesn't look good to me. This looks more like something that's evil. I wasn't really there in the tomb when he got that sword, but
Well, it's not on him now, so maybe he'll be better. If you can't heal him, I can.
might have to report this incident to the Temple of Dolahara.
Oh, that's fine, but let's get him up.
I mean,
Alright.
giant wound in the chest. Sounds kind of easy to me.
She reaches over and
I got a bandit.
casts Cure Wounds.
Okay.
He's gonna come upstairs and hearing the body fall to the floor. What's going on up here?
We're trying to work something out. We don't really know for sure. Something burst out of Samael's chest, and
Samael, as the healing energy flows through your body, your eyes snap awake and look around the chamber, and you see your friends standing over you.
Whew. Glad to see you guys.
Zara pulls out her halberd and points it at Samael. What was that? What's going on?
I don't know why you're pointing that at me. Byron's price for his life came due. I just went ahead and paid it. But we're good to go now. I think everything's taken care of.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, soon they thought that was going to kill me. Better people have tried.
terrible.
So what happened?
Weapon burst out of your chest and you laid unconscious.
Oh God, man! I had the weirdest dream. I was in Dolor. I got to meet the keeper and everything. It was crazy. Probably more truth than dream, but at least now I'm finally free of having to pay that application to Gaff. Next time I see him, I swear I'm gonna eviscerate.
Well, I still owe you, and I still have your back till I can.
You don't owe me anything, friend. You've had my back more times than I can count. I'm not even worried about it. I'm sure if it had been the other way around, you'd have done the same.
Cedo is gonna go over to that sword that came out of Samael's chest, and he's gonna cast Identify on it.
Okay. As you begin to approach the weapon appears to evaporate. It was solid, and now it seems to be a mist. And the mist just sort of fades away until it's nothing.
The sword is gone. Zito's gonna look around and see if it appears anywhere.
As you look around, gazing back towards Samael, Samael is now holding it in his hand.
Does this sword come with a sheath?
I don't know.
Samael, that sword.
Oh.
Thinking about putting that away on your body?
Actually, it's made out of my body as far as I can tell.
I'm gonna reach in towards the hole in his chest and act like I'm gonna pull something out. See, I don't know. The scabbard might be.
Whoa, 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 whoa! I don't want to put it back in there.
Byron, as you walk towards Samael, post the healing from Zara, you notice that there is still a hole in Samael's chest, and it appears to be slowly closing. And you can see all the way through the hole in his chest out the back of what would appear to be the back of his armor. What you hadn't noticed before, the same size hole at the front of the chest appears to be identical on his back through his armor. He now has two identical sized holes on the front and the back of his armor.
Well, that's going to take a pretty penny to fix.
It seems to be fixing itself. I'm not sure I understand it, but as far as I could tell, the Keeper's Fang is gone, and this sword is actually made out of me. That's what it appears to be, anyway.
Well, I know we're in a rush. We have to go to the wig shop and find the necromancer and get the stone back, but...
Pounding a necromancer might just be exactly what I need.
Samael, I'm quite worried. I really don't know what this is, and based on my order, if we're not sure whether something is good or evil, I have to report it.
Oh yeah, go ahead. You need me to come in there and help you report it? I'll be happy.
I mean, you've done so much for me and for everyone, but I mean, just maybe for your own good.
Well, I'm afraid the evil part's over with now. Using that dagger was the evil part, but it was the price we had to pay for rescuing Byron. I condemned quite a few evil people to the Keeper's hold, but I don't resent it. I don't regret it. I think they far better off with the Keeper than they were here causing problems. Let him keep them. That's what I say. As for this, and I pull the sword out and twirl it around. This is payment for a job well done, unfortunately, but it's made out of me, and I'm going to keep it.
As Samael twirls the sword, he sort of fumbles it a little bit and he seems a bit woozy from the experience.
Whoa. I do not recommend making swords out of your ribs. It's a bad idea.
You, you sure you should be using that? I mean,
I mean, it doesn't look like it's going anywhere, but like I said, this sword is made of Samael. And Samael is going to bring a lot of pain to a lot of evil people. So, yeah, I see no reason not to.
I mean, just kind of what happened. I mean, I'd be shocked. It'd come from doing, you know, working with the keeper. I guess paying penance to the keeper, but
Well, the Keeper disgusts me, man. I mean, there are certain things I understand, like death. I understand death. All things die. We die, you'll die, I'll die. We all die eventually, and there's nothing wrong with that. What I don't like is undead. Anytime anybody comes back from the grave, that's a natural to me. The keeper is just so gluttonous. It's disgusting. I mean, I don't mind serving death, but serving the keeper directly is, ugh, that thing is filth. I'm just glad to be.
We are glad as well, Samael. And she goes over to Samael. Do you need any more healing?
I do, but you might want to hold off on it until we get to that necromancer. I've got a couple potions on me.
Earlier.
Oh, that would be great. What you got?
Just treat.
How do you use it? You rub it on, smoke it? Please say you smoke it.
Rub it on. It takes about a minute for it to fully activate, but it will heal you some.
Ah, all right. Well, that works. Yeah, let's go ahead and use it. That's the stuff right there. I'm going to attempt to use my lay on hands
Actually,
ability.
which
and heal myself for
Samael the
20
keeper do I? Looks like there's two of them in the party.
There is two? Oh, Jeremy, you still got the old Samael on the combat track. You targeted me, though. That actually went to my character.
Okay, I didn't know which one I.
I'm going to use my lay on hands ability to its full effect and heal myself up another 20 hit.
That was weird.
you know, I mean, I know it's kind of a dangerous spot here and all, but maybe we could take a short rest somewhere close by before we head over to the necromancer.
I don't know, man. I'm pretty held up now. But yeah, if you're feeling tired or if you're feeling a little woozy or anything, sure, let's do it.
Oh, Byron, I didn't realize you had more. That feels way better. Oh, I mean, I'm down to go if you're.
I can only give it to you once per day, so
Oh,
I can't give it to you twice. Another.
Oh, that's quite handy. I mean, I can heal a little more if anyone else.
I've got a few scratches here and there, but I think this hole's near about closed up. I'm ready to go kill a necromancer.
All right, well, we probably should make haste to, just while he's still there. You guys ready?
Oh, yeah.
well, before we leave, everybody else, good? Is everyone? Does anybody else look really hurt?
No, I'm feeling okay.
Hey, Brunhild,
you,
how you
Brune?
feeling?
Yeah.
Think I'll live.
Well, in case we have another fight, will you be up for it?
Well, I'm always up for a fight.
Rest of those red rubes in my bag.
Yeah, maybe we should wear them before we go. I mean, I guess you didn't find anything evil on the ropes?
I don't think he checked. I think he kind of fell to the
I
ground
was
before.
on a check, but then this sword busted out of my chest and was all like, "Ah."
Maybe we should check before we take him, Byron. It just be, a precaution.
Maybe we should grab the rope and wear them. Now the necromancer, I think, is the cultist instead of.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if they're magical, be sure it's better to be safe than.
Oh, I can find out if they're magical. Semi ropes.
How many sets of robes did the party want to take?
One for everybody.
Okay, so 7 of them.
Right.
So
Everything is left.
There's probably no robes large enough for a kobold.
Surprisingly, Zeta, you found a set that was perfectly sized to you.
And even if there wasn't one, I could tailor it really quick.
Cultists do not discriminate.
Wait, you said perfect.
Yes, you found
Are
a
all
set.
of these ropes perfectly sized?
All of these robes that within you find that they all seem to be in various sizes.
Oh, okay, so it's not like.
There we go. There are 7 robes in the party's inventory now. You can all grab a set for yourself if you like.
How many left?
Oh, there were dozens in this room.
I'll stick them in my bag.
And do any of them give off a magical aura from?
Well, did someone do a detect magic?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did detect magic?
Yes.
You don't detect any sort of magic on any of these robes.
Well, that's interesting.
You are detecting various within this area with coming off of your friends. You're detecting magic coming off of them.
What about around me? Do I notice anything else magical within the building, within 30 feet or so?
Nope. You don't notice anything out of the ordinary.
I don't see any at all, guys. These are probably the poorest cultists I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but she grabs a robe and puts it on, put the hood over. Well, let's go.
I'm pretty sure it's a good thing. Well-funded cultists would be much more difficult than poor cultists.
Yeah, if he lives like under a wig shop instead of like in a sky, they're pretty.
If I was to start my own cult, I would make them give me their whole life savings and their firstborn children. You know what I mean?
Sarah looks at him like, uh-huh. All right, well, let's go. You guys ready?
We got ourselves a necromancer to kill and or throttle. Oh, I hope he has undead when we get there. I can't wait to smash those. I swear I'm gonna hit him with a zombie.
Does everybody look the part? I'm gonna put on my robe and put the hood up. Should we dirty ourselves up a bit?
Heavens, no, I'm already covered in blood. What else do you want?
That is true.
Other than the very pronounced red spiral scar that was on Volkar and Erlastra's foreheads, you all appear to be very much wearing what they were wearing. Over your clothing, of course.
Don't tell Siegfried to dirty himself up either. He will have a fit.
Yeah, that's true.
Although, maybe we should put spirals on our heads.
With what? Blood?
I mean, any other ideas? And I can't believe I'm saying this, but
I think we just cover our heads up with the cloak or the robe.
I'm already drawing the spiral in my head.
Yeah, Zara's gonna do it as well.
How do I look, Sar? Do I look like a cultist yet?
Yeah, a little bit. It's pretty
Very nice.
convincing.
How bad does it look?
Me?
Yeah, Jeremy. Does his little spiral look at all realistic?
I'm sure it comes in sharp contrast to the Semiles now green eyes.
It's a square.
Well, you can roll a... Go ahead and just roll a performance check.
Zara's gonna do it as well.
I was gonna say, thinking, I don't think anyone has proficiency in forgery.
Oh, it's just a squiggle. It's not like.
You know, that's look somewhat convincing.
So,
Would you like?
not seeing a mirror or a reflective surface, Zara, strangely enough, is able to 100% accurately draw this symbol on her forehead. It looks identical to the two gentlemen that you encountered. Samael, however, has drawn a triangle.
Oh God, I like one of those demon worshippers now.
It's an upside down triangle.
Samael, let me help you with that. And she wipes off it from his forehead and draws it. Anyone else want my help?
Careful, that's my blood.
Yeah, I'm aware. I'm aware. Anyone else?
All right, sure.
She goes over to Nick and kind of very gently. She got a little wound, so she's using it and putting it on his head.
I don't plan on wearing one.
I don't really plan on anybody ever seeing Byron until they're about to die.
Do I need to
If
roll?
even then.
Do I need to roll for putting it on Nick and Samael, or am I like, since I already got it?
I would say roll with advantage.
For all of them, or?
Yes, since you were able to do it so deftly on yourself, you've gotten better at it each time.
Double 7?
Okay. So, painstakingly, you're able to trace this sigil on each of their foreheads until it is nearly identical to yours.
Well, anybody else?
No, it's bad enough I'm wearing the robes. I'm not gonna put their symbol on my head.
Alright, well, maybe stay towards the back, and I guess we're ready to go, and she starts making for the door and going down the stairs.
That's
Zara.
respectable of you, Zito. I appreciate that.
Zara, as you turn around, you notice that other than your friends are with you now, Siegfried seems to be missing.
Guys, we might have left Siegfried in the alley.
I thought he was outside.
Yeah, something like that. Well, let's see if we can find him when she starts going.
I hope he didn't disappear again. I'm gonna try calling him on the ring. Siegfried, you there?
There is
Siegfried is somehow.
silence.
Shit, guys, this isn't good.
No, I've never heard Siegfried silent before.
I mean, he is a spy and all. He
Yeah,
might be
but
doing his own thing.
I would expect him to contact us, though. Siegfried, give us a sign that you're still alive if need be.
A few moments go by, and then your ring flashes in response, Samael, and you hear Siegfried sort of forlorn and a bit irritated in response. He says, "Sorry, I had to leave. I had to take a shit."
All right, buddy, we're going to the necromancer. You want to catch up with us?
I'm downstairs.
Okay, we'll wait for you.
After a few minutes come by, one of the rooms that you had cleared previously, a somewhat disheveled Siegfried wanders out from the room, looks at all of you, and says, "You guys look ridiculous."
You're going to look just as well once you put one on.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
hell no. Get away from me.
Nah, man, we need you to do it so you can be undercover with us. You're a spy. Put this thing on.
Where did you even get those?
Upstairs in the closet. They're clean. Brand new.
He sort of looks at the one that you offer him and grabs it with his thumb and his forefinger, holding it up, and says, "Why are you all wearing these?"
We all. Didn't you know? Right, Samael? We're a part of this cult now.
Oh, yeah, man. Nah, actually, we're getting ready to go stomp a necromancer. He made a deal with the cultists, so we're just going to look like cultists when we show up. Put him off guard a little bit before we go in there and smash a couple of his fingers.
Siegfried looks at you and, "Very well," and he takes the robe, hawks it up over his head, and shimmies into it.
Looking good.
Now, Siegfried, it's up to you, but if I could put the little, she points to the thing on her forehead, on your forehead, it would look more convincing. Otherwise, I'd probably say stay towards the back. What do you think?
He says, "Oh no, you're not putting anything on my forehead."
Hey, buddy, it's okay. We don't need to put it on there. Just hang in the back.
"I can do that."
See, you ain't got one either. Stay over there next to him. Make sure nobody's staring at y'all too hard. You're pretty good at seeing stuff like that.
So what's the next plan? What are we doing now?
Necromancer, boot stomp.
I think we better go. We're kind of in a time crunch, and she motions toward the door. Shall we?
Actually, were we going to go back and see your brother first, or do we want to go and crush this necromancer?
I think we better crush the necromancer. My brother can wait. This is more urgent.
I think we
We've
should
been
find a
waiting this
stone.
long. I guess it's all right.
Yeah, he actually sent me another letter saying he's awaiting my arrival, but he's fine. So this is a lot more urgent. And she kind of again starts walking towards the door.
Yeah, let's be underway. While we're walking, we can talk about it. Your brother, is he a priest like you?
And as we're walking, she's talking. No, he's I don't know how to describe it. He's a businessman. He's in favor of one of the houses right now. Not part of any house, but and our parents being in the weapon business, he's learned the trade. He's learned the skills. He's pretty much all I got.
Yeah, if you need a offensive weapon, you probably go there.
Well, he doesn't. I don't think he does weapons anymore. My family did that, and when she says "did," she kind of doesn't make eye contact. But anyways,
Don't worry
How
about
are
us, Star. We all got little skeletons like that in our family's background, so it'll be fine.
so how are we getting there? A sky coach or walking?
How far is it?
Do I happen to know how far it is, or even know of the wig shop?
The wig shop is in the southeast part of Callestan. Callestan is 2 districts south from where you are currently. So it took you about 35 minutes to walk there.
Glad somebody knew the directions, because, you know, I would have asked the cultists, but they're both dead.
I only killed one of them, sir.
If I take the lead, I can get us there in half the time, or we can try to catch a sky coach and get there about the same.
Why don't we go ahead and stretch your legs a little bit? Byron, go ahead and take the lead.
All right, I'll lead them through to the district about a block away.
Passing through out of Malian's Gate and through the Gate of Gold, which is the tenement district just to the south of Malian's Gate, you approach the Inn district of Callestan. The streets are wet from a recent rain, and of course the damp from this horrendous mist, this miasma of fog which has gripped the city. It is thickest on the lower levels. It's difficult to see, but you're able to make it to the district in a relatively short amount of time. Many of the businesses have wrought iron gates on the outside of the windows and the doors, and several of them seem to be closed at the moment. And after several minutes traveling through Callestan, you make your way towards the familiar sight to you, Byron, of Dandy Mops, which is, you know, a wig shop here in Callestan. And it appears to have a locked gate. The gate is locked, and there are no lights emitting from the interior of the windows.
From a block away, I'll point it out to the party, and then I'll fade into.
Question, Jeremy.
Yes, sir.
Are people watching us?
You can make a perception check with disadvantage because you are all walking through a very thick fog.
All right.
Can Zara check as well?
I would say that you could have helped him to increase and to make a flat roll without disadvantage. That would have removed the disadvantage.
Okay.
So if you'd like, Nicholas, you can take the 15 instead of the 8.
I'll take the 15.
Looking around the district, you see just almost like rivers of rodents and vermin on the edges of the buildings, and you see a couple of children running around in very drab clothes, chasing after each other, playing in the streets. You don't really see a whole lot of what you are used to seeing in the upper levels, which is a presence of the watch or the guard. Mostly what you're seeing are just regular folk. You see a mix of goblin, hobgoblin. You see a lone warforged that's missing an arm, which is walking down the street with a limp.
Interesting, guys. How do you want to play this?
What's interesting?
Well, it's so dirty down here. Ugh.
Yeah.
MIL. We can
Yes.
casually walk up to the gate, and I can act like I'm pulling out a key, but pick the lock and open it up, and we can casually walk in like we're part of this. Let me belong. How do you want to do this? Or we can, sneak in. I don't know. I'm just giving you options here.
We're dressed as cultists. Why don't we just...
Well, I mean, we can't really knock on the door unless we open the gate.
knock on the door and, open a gate, walk up there, knock on the door, and pay us enough.
Did we find any keys on people?
And the nitpick, worthless.
Well, I mean, it's worth a try to see.
All right, let's head up to the gate. want me to go first to pick the lock just in case, or do you want to be behind me, Samael?
Yeah, you go ahead and pick the lock, man. You're smoother at that stuff than I am. I'd pull the key out and trip over the lock.
All right, everybody fall behind, and we'll what's walking you just in or something, like we've done this before. And kind of and walk straight over to the gate.
I'm going to follow up. Be clear.
Derek, you said you wanted to pick the lock?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll walk up to it.
Make a dexterity check. You can use your Thieves' Tools bonus for this, obviously.
All right. Is everybody behind me? I kind of look behind me.
Yes, everyone, I assume, is crowding around you at the moment.
Okay. All right. I'm going to make it look really sly and act like I'm pulling out a key, but, I like it.
Hurry up and get your key out, man.
Yeah, somewhere in my bag.
The tool that you pull out of your pack slides into the lock, and you hear the sound of a spring depressing in, and then there's a sound of a click, and the lock comes loose.
See, I found the key, guys. Now, put my tool quickly and open the gate. Alright, let's go to the door. I bow my head and I kind of walk forward.
Okay. Beyond the lock gate is a simple door.
Well, somebody else, should we knock?
Yeah. Do you want to actually, knock, or do you want me to kick the door open?
I mean, how far are we taking this disguise? I mean, I could pick the lock again, or we could knock on the door and pretend like we're the cultists.
Yeah, knock on the door.
Hold on there, Nicholas.
Oh.
We're facing against a necromancer, correct?
Yeah.
Well, most wizards like to have protection, so this door might be warded.
That's a good point. Zeta, can you check it?
I can cast Detect Magic on it.
Zito, as you pass your hands over the door, and as they get closer and the incantations from your spell finalize and coalesce, you can see what appear to be patterns of light creating sigils that pass over the lock next to the door handle. And you can feel a very strong, very powerful spell emitting from this lock.
Yeah, as I expected, this door is heavily enchanted. If not, it might be trapped.
We might want to just
Give
knock
me
then.
I mean,
Yeah, let me see if I can identify what's on this door.
alright.
As you're standing there, Zito, you hear the sound of squeaking, and as you look down, an absolute flood of rats is now currently running between your feet and your legs. In fact, the entire group now has this flood of rats that are just running over your feet, over your shoes, like water.
Oh, aren't they adorable?
You all hear a voice, a diminutive voice. Hey, what you doing?
Oh, that's easy enough. We're here to talk with the necromancer. Apparently, we had traded this improperly, and our leader sent us over here at apparently great peril to our own lives to see if we could remedy the situation.
Sam, as you turn around and look, you see a little girl, could be no older than 8 years old, and she's wearing rags, and she's got a finger up one nostril, and she goes, "What's a necromancer?"
Well, he's kind of like a doctor. But, yeah, that's close enough.
But you might want to run along now. Sometimes doctors can be a little cranky, so never.
My mom went to a doctor once. She died.
Have you seen your mom since?
It's funny. Sometimes I hear her. I can hear her voice coming from the sewer.
Ah. The sewer down below this this area?
Yeah, Dad told me to ignore it. He told me to stay out of the sewer. That's where the bad people are.
Could you show us where the sewer is?
Sure. And she takes a finger out of her nose, a long trailing string of snot, and she points out, flicking the snot in an arc splats on the ground, and goes, "It's over there, in the alley, round the corner."
Thanks, Chow. We'll go take a look.
Are you gonna go see the bad people?
We're gonna go check and see if there are any bad people. And if we hear your mom, we'll say hey to her. What's her name?
Her name was Lorraine.
What's your name, child?
My name is Vesper.
Thanks, Vesper. Go ahead and run along. We'll go take a look at everything. We'll let you know if we see anything.
Okay. You've got a hole in your chest.
No. It used to be a hole in my chest. It's healed up now.
And she's continuing to point towards the gaping hole in your armor.
Yeah.
And she says, "Okay, bye now." And she begins walking off, chasing after the flow of rats in the streets. And you watch as she picks up a stick and begins beating several of the rats. You just see the rat formation like a river of vermin. Several of them leaping in the air from her strikes, and you can hear her giggling now.
Hey, Zeta, buddy.
Trying to focus here. What do you need?
I was just wondering if you got any type of spell that'll cover up this hole that I've got in my armor right now. Seems to be drawing a lot of attention.
No, I don't. You should probably ask Needles when we get back to the troll skull.
It's a good idea. All right, thanks.
Or maybe Nicholas has something.
How about you, Nick? You got anything that repairs equipment?
Unfortunately, I don't. Sorry, Samael.
I have a shield you can use.
I've got a shield. That one works great.
All right. Well, I did my.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Well, not much longer. How close am I until I finish cashing the ID?
After time passes, Zeta, you're able to identify that there appears to be some sort of arcane lock. It doesn't appear to be something that is dangerous. It just appears to be like a heavily fortified type of arcane lock. And you're fairly certain that it could be dispelled, or that a knock spell could deactivate it.
One moment.
So is it?
It appears to be a locking spell, but maybe I can carve some extra symbols into the spell that would cause the spell to undo itself. But that's just a theory. I never got a chance to try it.
We could do that. I mean, the fact that we've been standing here for a while, it's possible they've seen us. Maybe we should just knock?
Why don't we go down the sewer engine?
Yeah, that might connect back to the house as well.
Or Nicholas could pick the lock, or you. This will be a really strong lock, Nicholas. You think you can do it?
I can always try. All right, hold on. I'm going to.
Nick, you could do this.
I'm going to attempt to pick the lock.
Siegfried, don't just stand there. Play this man some music. Play him some lockpicking music.
Siegfried looks at all of you, and his eyes are just sort of bugging out of his head, and he says, "You guys are crazy. This place is gross."
Well, I mean, yeah.
How big is this building? Is it a separate building? Is it part of a bunch of buildings?
The shop itself appears to be embedded within the base of the tower that stretches up into the middle Dura section. You're actually not too far away in terms of location from almost directly above you. You would consider would be close to Gelf's House of Cheddar.
Hey, Siegfried, maybe not play a song. Tell us a joke, something that'll help Nick and when he's picking.
Say his nose, Siegfried. I dare you, say his nose.
I once knew an inquisitor that had a wicked sway. He flashed his badge just about every day. And then he met his ex, and he threw it away.
Shut up, Siegfried.
Zara's actually giggling.
As I recall, she seemed to take it away.
And you now have an inspiration you may spend, sir.
All right. What's is it a D6?
Yep, it is a d6 that you can add to your roll, on top of your roll.
30.
Okay. There's a little bit of a spark that emits from the lock underneath the door handle, and you hear the tumblers turning, and the door comes open.
You guys, no problem. You got a lock? Nick will get in.
Zara put the hand on her shoulder. Great job, hubby.
I'm gonna put my hand on this other shoulder. Great job, hubby.
Hey, since there's not really much locks, continue on. You want to go first? I'm a little squishy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you. Give me a second. I'm gonna unsling my shield. I'm gonna pull out my sword, and I'm gonna proceed in.
Brunhild, I'll go after you.
Got it.
The shop itself is dark. There are no ever bright lanterns burning. You do see, however, some torches that are hanging in various spots, similar to torches that you've been seeing in these lower levels of Lower Dura. And within the shop you see various cases filled with hair pieces. You see mannequin heads with stylized hair pieces and wigs, powdered wigs of all sizes and shapes. And you see a counter with a door just behind that counter.
Do you see anything, Samael?
Not really. I mean, it's just a room.
Well, here's my guess. She said something down the sewer, so I'm pretty sure this house links to the sewer somehow.
Okay, let's start looking around.
Well, the best place to start looking would be the basement.
I agree. And Zara starts walking towards the door in the back.
Is that a basement door?
Could be. And she opens it.
Zara, looking through the door in the dark, with your dark vision, you can just make out the gray image of stairs leading down.
Yep, that looks like a basement.
Or a crypt?
You know.
Let's look around up here and see if we can find anything there. We don't want to leave anything behind that's of value.
That's
Right,
true.
Nick?
Yeah.
I knew you'd see it, no way.
But question. So when we go down there, should we keep the act up and then surprise them like, we're cultists, hey buddy, and then we just all just jump on them?
Nah, let's jump on him, but stay dressed as cultists while we do so. That way, if we fail or if we have to escape, he'll think the cultists attacked him and not us.
Alright.
That's true.
Yeah.
And Zara just like kind of closes the door a little bit so it's not wide open. She doesn't shut it all the way though.
I'll keep an eye on it, and if anything comes through, I'll just.
So,
Alright.
what's around? What's around? Anything use?
Do we see any chests, drawers, cabinets, anything looks like
The cash register?
Go ahead and open it, Nick.
Probably a cash box.
You don't see a quote-unquote cash register, but behind the counter you do find a safe.
Come on, guys, we're here for the necromancer. We're not here to raid this wig shop.
But is there anything clues about the necromancer up here? Anyone's... She's just trying to see.
Well, if I had to guess, he's probably bald.
The only thing you know is that Volkar and Erlaster mentioned to Samael and Nicholas that they sold the stone to a man named Losser.
Any stationery or anything in here with his name on it?
You can make perception checks, and if anyone would like to help him with that, they can. It will just take away your disadvantage.
I can help him.
So, looking around the room, Samael, you see a bit of what you assume would be a ledger.
Oh yeah, let's start flipping through this thing. We're gonna find something.
It is dark though, and it's difficult to read in the dark. Even with your dark vision, you can't really make out much on the paper.
Anybody able to read this? It's kind of dark in here.
I could bring it towards the door and...
I got a candle. Here, I'll just light the candle real quick. Hold on.
That's what I was thinking. I was about to pull out a candle as well.
Yeah, I just thought maybe y'all had something more convenient. Hold on, let me get this thing out of my bag here. There we go, got it.
Do you have something to light it?
If you would do the honors, Nick, and I'll hold the candle high above my head.
Didn't someone find an ever glowing one or something?
Did they?
I don't know. Who has it? But I'll light, or I'll firebolt the candle wick.
Okay. With a little bit of illumination, you're able to make out the ledger, the interior of which says Dandy Mops. Established 990, and the name Losser Merklav. And you see various columns, what you can only assume through a cursory glance are transactions.
Hey guys, this is the name right here, ain't it?
Yeah, it is.
I thought so. All right, let's ransack the place.
Well, hold on. It says transaction. Right? Is that what you said?
Yes, this appears to be a ledger that contains transactions, like sales.
If he's got the stone up here, I'd rather find it and save us the trouble of having to deal with this guy. Let's ransack the place and see if it's here.
All right.
Who's closest
it's
to
this
the
way.
Who's closest to the door leading to the stairs?
Well, I'm watching it, but doesn't Zito's detect magic still last for like 10 minutes or something?
Not if I cast Identify.
Oh,
That
I
would
gotcha.
have ran.
Byron, make a perception check. You hear a odd noise in the distance, and it sounds like splashing. And then you hear a sound that is somewhat familiar to all of you. You
I'm gonna
hear
blow out the candle.
a squawking noise that echoes and flows up into the chamber. You hear this, Byron. Zara, you also hear this.
I did not.
Let's see. Everyone except for Zito, Samael, Nicholas, and Brunhild heard this squawking noise.
Okay, I've still got the candle lit then, so I didn't hear anything.
Hey, what else does that say? Move the candle over here. It's hard to see.
Yeah.
I'll move over to the edge of the stairs and look down.
You don't see anything, but you can still hear a faint sound of what sounds like running water, and some little, very fainter still, splashing that seems to be moving away.
Let's start digging through cabinets, man. This stone's gotta be in here somewhere. I mean, this is a business. You put it somewhere. Let's just start tearing stuff apart.
I'll whisper a little bit. Hey, we need to go. Let's
Where?
go down now. There's movement down below. We need to go.
I agree. I heard it.
Alright, I'm gonna blow the candle out then. I see no reason not to trust Byron unless it's move.
I mean, we can always come back up.
Can I move to the bottom of the stairs?
We're gonna stay in combat formation, but stay about 10 foot behind Byron while he's checking that out.
Was it a long hall? Do I see doors? Do I see it?
You see a door, iron-bound wooden door with a sign mounted to it that reads "Sewer Access, Authorized City Officials Only."
there anything in there hidden? Can I take a look around? See if there's anything hidden, like another door or another passage, or...
Sure, you can make a perception check. You don't
I'll wait
notice...
for the others to come down.
Okay. Do you signal for everyone else to come down?
Yeah, I'll come out of the shadows and wave.
Proceed slowly to Byron's location.
Okay. You all make it down into this 10-foot wide by 20-foot wide chamber with this door on the western wall with this sign.
I'm gonna move real quietly.
Okay. I will share a map with all of you. And I should mention there's a section just above the sign with an aperture that has several iron bars, and beyond it you can hear the sound of the running water. You can, this foul smell of the sewer wafting through this hole in the door.
I didn't see anything down here. We may need to go through that door. See if there's any other... Again,
Does that door have a lock on it?
It does appear to have a lock on it below the handle.
I'm gonna walk over to the door and try to open it. Does it seem like the door's locked?
When you try the handle, it does appear to have no give to it.
Hey, guys, I think it's locked. Here, let me open it for you. And I'll pull up my lock.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick the lock. Or attempt to pick the lock. 16.
Okay. Once again, you hear the familiar sound of a spring that is being depressed. And as you maneuver your tool, you hear a faint clicking noise, and the handle comes open easily.
Hey guys, I should start my own shop. Nick's locksmith. I kind of fall back behind Samael. Alright, it's open.
What is?
The door. I opened it for you.
Wow, man, you were good at that. All right, let's go on through.
Peering around the corner, you see that the sewer continues on north. The tunnel continues on north and then south and wraps around a bit. And you can see where there appears to be a sort of what looks to you like a dilapidated bridge of sorts. And just under the bridge, you can see that the sewage seems to be flowing easternly down a pathway underneath the bridge. And it's sort of an archway.
I'm gonna look for track on if there's any coming from this room or anything. It's going north or south.
Sure, you can look. That would be a survival check if I'm not mistaken.
Above just washed everything up on the walkways. I can't pick anything up.
Yeah, You don't see anything that disturbed other than the what looks to be like errant possible rat droppings here and there. And of course you also see what could have been a small vermin like footprints in the dust.
North or south, Sam? What do you want? Hello, Sam.
Yes.
You all also hear echoing somewhere. You hear the sound that you heard before echoing through the chambers. Appears to be
Can I tell? Sorry, go ahead.
It appears to be coming from the south and is echoing, and you can hear the sound of fluttering wings and splashing.
Looks like south, Sam.
Okay, I'm gonna lead the way.
I'm gonna go back into stealth.
Somehow you see this pathway seems to terminate at a wall, and you can see that there is just beyond that wall, within this murky sewage water, you can see that there is an opening, this archway, and there appears to be where the tunnel seems to continue on.
Hey, MIL.
Yeah, buddy.
Hey, how about we send Byron up to scout ahead and I can communicate with him through telecommunication or whatever, through my head.
Actually, I got an idea, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell it to you now to see if you think it's a good idea or not. You're pretty sneaky. You can tell me if this will work.
Yeah.
All right, man. Ever since I went to the lure, my eyes are green now, right? And I got this giant cobra sword now. I'm just gonna walk in there and tell him that the keeper requires his assistance and to give me the stone.
Well, I mean, the only thing that does is take away our surprise.
It doesn't take away your surprise. It just takes away mine. And I don't surprise people anyway. I just walk in. So how about we give it a try? And if worse comes to wear, then you guys just light him up.
That's a great idea, but I still don't think we should have Byron scout ahead so we know exactly what we're walking in.
All right, get Byron up here and tell him my plan. That way, if Byron sees him, he can fall back and then we can try it out.
All right, hey Byron, come here.
I don't answer. I just walk by him.
Okay.
Hey Byron, it's me, Nick. I'm in your head right now.
I'm looking behind Nick, trying to figure out where Byron is.
Oh, Byron, you can.
You guys can.
You can reply to the message.
You guys can attempt to see him if you want to roll perception.
I'm not even gonna bother, man.
Hey Byron, it's me again, Nick.
Then Byron walked by Zara and she just felt this whoosh, and then she looked around and there was no.
I'm at the bridge. Do I miss anything?
It's not so much a bridge. It's an cobblestone archway that terminates at the top of the sewer tunnel. But looking down around, it looks like there's an opening that appears to head east. The opening is large enough that you can pass through relatively easily, but there is this murky, filthy water which is flowing southward and eastward into this opening.
God, again. Can I look eastward and see if I can see?
From where you're standing, no. You would have to actually get into the water and look down into the tunnel.
I'll stick the end of my bow down into the water and see how deep it is.
The bow goes all the way down, and from what you can, your hand nearly touches the water, and you can feel something solid right at the edge of your bow. It appears to be about 3 feet deep, about the length, the meter length of your bow.
Ugh.
And as you pull your bow out, it is absolutely coated in this viscous matter. And you can now hear that squawking noise echoing down the hall from that eastern chamber, and more fluttering wing noises. And you hear the sound of a door, what sounds like a door opening.
I'll slip into the
Very,
water.
very faintly, you can hear it in the distance.
Hey Byron, if you forgot, it's Nick again. Do you see anything? You can reply to this message.
I'm in the muck. Leave me alone. This stuff sucks.
Looking down this aperture, you can see that the tunnel continues on and appears to go a bit of ways away and then turn about 10 feet, seems to turn a little bit towards the northeast and then continues on.
Alright, I'll just stand here and watch and listen. Message anytime soon.
Hey Byron. You're in the muck, but you can reply to this message. Are you okay?
Hey, I'm doing great. Coming in the water. It's warm. Well, but it's warm. There's a tunnel leading to the back where that squawky noise is coming. You may need to duck your head underneath the water to get underneath that pass, though there's something slippery over here.
I don't hear any of this, but I'm... Psst, Byron! Where are you? Byron!
Please relay that message to everybody else.
Somebody else. Shh, shh.
Where is he?
I'm in contact. He's moving forward. He's over here, and I kind of point in the general direction.
Where?
Under
Over
the
there.
arch.
Under the arch.
What if he gets ganked? I need to get over there.
He's...
Byron, you hear the sound of you're now hearing what sounds like a scuffle echoing, and the sound of weapons clanging in the distance, and you hear a muffled "Oh!"
I'll move 10 feet forward again.
Nick, where's everybody else?
I think behind us. I'll cast message back to Zara. Hey, tell everyone to come this way.
Oh, okay. Brunhild.
Your message,
Yeah.
so I'm going to go 10 feet forward.
Semi-out.
Nicholas, you splash into cold, 3-foot deep water, and there's a thick, viscous, gross chunks that just seem to cling to you as you lower yourself into the water. And Byron, as you look around the corner, you can see that the sewer tunnel appears to continue on for quite some distance. And at the not too far away, you can see what appears to be jutting out of the wall to the south. A small ledge with a door. I feel sorry for Zito because he's got to swim through this.
I know.
Does Zito know how to swim?
It
I'm
about
gonna hit
comes
you
to
right
my
on,
shoulders personally.
I'm gonna hit you right on Brunhild.
Okay.
If Nick ever messages me, I'll let him know what's going on with that trapper.
Hey, Byron, it's me, Nick again. How's it going? You see anything? You in danger? You dead yet?
Well, that's good. You know, when you go underneath the arch, make sure you go underneath the water. There's a tripwire across there. It looks like it might cut people's head off at the right level, so you have to go in under the water for about 5 feet and then come back up over on the other side.
All right, I'll tell Samael. It looks like we have to duck our heads in the water under this arch. Hold your breath, okay?
Okay.
I look around. Do I see any tripwire?
You don't see anything.
I come back up. That son of a bitch.
Move 10 feet further.
Hey, how do I? What's
Ni-
next?
Nicholas, you got a little bit of that water in your mouth.
Somehow
is-
comes out of the water invigorated and goes, wow, Byron, this is good. I didn't even see that tripwire.
It was the most foul thing that has ever graced your lips.
Hey, Nick, is there any traps right here?
No, there's no traps.
Okay. She just she ducks her head, but she doesn't go in the water and goes under the arch.
I'm going to pat Nick on the back. What happened, buddy? You just swallowed some?
Yeah. Ugh.
Ugh. You might want to have Zara take a look at you later.
Yeah, I might. I'm gonna cast message. Byron, I'm gonna kill you. If they don't kill you first.
Make sure you stay to the left. It's shower.
Did you just threaten to kill Byron?
Byron, as you
Okay.
continue to inch along this 10-foot wide, the water suddenly becomes warm where you are.
About how far away is it? Okay, I see the edge of the ledge there. I can get at an angle to see if I can't see anything on that.
The door is ajar. And you can see what appears to be some sort of fluid which is seeping out of the door into the water and is creating a darker patch. That seems to be where that warmth seems to be coming from. It's not much, but it's a little bit. Water's a little bit warmer as it starts to get dissipate and get colder again as whatever this is mixing with the sewer water.
Liquid?
It appears to be a dark liquid of some sort. It's hard to tell, hard to make out colors with your dark vision.
Feeling the texture and my smell, can I determine if it's like oil or something?
It smells like blood. And you can now hear more sounds of weapons clashing from beyond that door somewhere.
Okay.
Hey, Byron, it's Nick. If you forgot about me, yeah, the one that's gonna kill you. What do you see? You dead yet? What's wrong?
Well, I can't
You
until
did-
you send me a message, dummy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's fighting going on over here, and
Hey, Samael.
Yeah, bud.
You said there's fighting up ahead.
All right, I'm moving in.
All right. Hey, Byron, I'm SMS Byron. Hey, Byron, we're coming up.
So as you slosh through the muck, splashing, drops, hitting your face, and you see Byron standing just outside of this little bit of a lip that dips into the sewage and a door that is slightly ajar. And the water does get a little bit warmer, but it appears to be not quite as warm as... It's definitely not very much more warmer than it was. And you can all now hear the sounds of a scuffle coming from beyond the door down wherever this door appears to lead.
I'm gonna like a little hand signal to go forward and not get my name on
pull out my crossbow and load it.
Okay. Samael, you're going through the door. As you open the door, you see a dead body, or what you assume is a dead body because the head is missing. And a long 5-foot wide chamber, long 5-foot wide hallway that seems to terminate into another chamber. And you're hearing the sound now of someone saying,
Please. You've destroyed all of my acolytes. Leave us in peace. You took the item. I don't have anything else.
That corpse is on the ground.
the corpse is on the ground directly in front of you. The sound of the voice appears to be echoing from a chamber somewhere beyond.
That voice said he killed all those acolytes. Are you still here fighting?
As you entered into the hallway, you no longer hear the sounds of swords clashing. But every once in a while you hear this sort of strange, sort of a shrill, trilling noise. It sounds like this.
I'm moving in.
Okay. Looking around immediately to your left, you see another chamber, and looking to your right, you can see that there is another room beyond, and you can hear someone's ragged breathing, and the sounds of those squawks are now getting stronger. And with a small dividing wall, Samael, you see what appears to be a birdman who is standing over what appears to be skeletal creatures that are broken and scattered on the floor, and a halfling man who is cowering before this birdman.
Do I see any recognition of the man, or does he turn and look at me?
He doesn't appear to see you at the moment.
Did he not hear me?
Did you say anything?
I said his name out as I'm walking forward.
Okay. As you begin striding into the room and yelling his name, the birdman turns and looks in your direction and brandishes his weapon, and I need you all to roll initiative.
Is Siegfried not coming down here with us?
He did not. Oh gosh, I just realized. Did I take him off?
I'm about to talk with him later.
Yeah, he said it's too dirty.
Reveal these guys to you all.
Before we do start combat, though, in the initiative roll, did Losser look up my mention of his name?
If he yelled out his name,
Yes, when I said his name walking into the room, did he recognize it or look towards me?
he looked off beyond. As you begin heading into the room, he looked towards you, and he said,
Help me, please. They're trying to rob me.
Don't worry, boss. I'll take care of it.
okay. And I believe it is Nicholas's turn.
I want to there.
Okay.
Yes. And I'm going to fire my crossbow.
There's a bit of a dilapidated, very thin and dilapidated wall that Samael is currently standing in front of. But there's chunks in the wall you can see through. You can see the Kinku directly through the very narrow passage, and you can see the halfling laying on the ground, cowering in the corner.
So it's like, okay, so there is a... Alright, then... I'm gonna hold my action. I'm gonna see. I guess I'm gonna see what happens. I'll hold my action. If he attacks Samael, I'll end my turn right there.
Okay. Brunhild, it is your turn.
All right. Let's see. I'm gonna move as close as.
And Brunhild, you see this strange avian bipedal person who was menacing this halfling, and as you came around the corner, its turn is looking at Samael and is looking at you now, with its beak sort of snapping.
And I'm gonna try to throw a hand axe at it.
Go for it. As you huck out, your hand axe flips over a short distance and pierces into the side of the creature's beak and chops its beak off, and the creature falls dead.
Isn't that just lovely? I'm a complete.
And Zara, is your turn.
Zara's gonna run all the way up to her friends and say, "What's going on?" and see what she can see.
Lost is under attack. We're pretending to be the good guys.
Did you say that quietly?
Yeah, I just whispered over my shoulder to you.
Okay. Hey, Lassa, are you alright? Is there anything else in your,
Losser looks at you, Zara, and says,
We're not alone.
with his eyes wide, and he sort of motions around the corner, just to the south.
Alright, I'm going
And
to
then
hold my action.
And then he shouts,
They robbed me. They took everything I had.
and I should mention, you are not in free action, Zara.
Yep, she's just holding her action. She's waiting for someone to come and
Okay. Losser is now stands up and begins moving, limping over towards the wall, and then he points to the south and he says,
Through there. There's more of them.
and Byron, it is your turn.
Trying to move over here.
Okay.
Do I see anything down?
To the south, as you head down there, you see what appears to be a kinku. And he looks in your direction. Let's see if he notices you.
My stealth was a 20.
Yep, let's see if he notices. He does not notice you. He appears to be readying his weapon.
Alright, I'll fire it.
And that is a miss, unfortunately. The shocked look of the creature's beak with your first arrow flies wide and impacts into the wall behind it. Your second one manages
was
to
an
strike the
advantage,
creature. And the creature
Bonus action.
impacts into its shoulder, stumbles a bit, squawking. And that is a critical hit. Byron, with your third arrow, knock, arcing out, blasting the creature back, and seeming to pin it into the wall. And Zito, it is your turn. You watched all your friends rush forward and heard the sounds of squawking creatures.
Do I, can
I'm sorry, did you not hear what you said?
can I see what the creatures are that are squawking, or
You do
or
not
are they all
see.
gone?
You do not see anything, but you do see what appear to be destroyed skeletal remains, possibly animated creatures that were destroyed recently, and you see one of a large birdman with its beak chopped off, laying on the ground close to where Byron is standing.
Do I know what that bird thing is?
Make a nature check. You have not encountered one before.
That'll be a 6.
Yes. You have not encountered one before, but you have heard of bipedal avian creatures before. You just can't quite remember what they're called.
Do you know where they're coming from? Brunhild? Samael?
No, we're not sure yet.
Not a clue.
I'm gonna hold my action in case any of them pop out.
Okay. Samael, it is your turn.
Lawson, which one of them robbed you? Which direction did he go?
They left the chambers. They went up the stairs.
Upstairs?
Yes. If you hurry,
Where-
you'll catch them.
Make sure
If-
somebody stays back and keeps our friend Bossa here safe.
All right.
I'm gonna use my full movement to go upstairs.
Okay. As you begin moving past that hallway, you feel a prickling sensation on the back of your neck. And just a feeling of dread coming from that chamber beyond, just to the south.
The chamber right next to where I'm passing through.
Correct.
I will stop and turn and look.
No, not that. Sorry, not that chamber. The one that was immediately in front of you.
Oh, the one right. I'm sorry, from upstairs or the one to the south where Byron shot the Kinku?
To the south, where Byron shot the Kinku.
Is it possible for me to cancel that movement right when I went there and turn that way? Actually, no, never mind. I'm going to continue upstairs.
Okay. Passing through, you see that there is a chamber. This appears to be possibly another room. And as you look around the corner, you can see that there is a doorway which is burst wide open. And there is broken lock and chain on the ground, laying in front of it. And in the distance, you can hear the sound of some feet beating the pavement. And that familiar sound, that squawking noise, which is very faint now, moving further away from you.
All right, I want to continue on to use my entire double movement to get up there.
Okay. Well, for all intents and purposes, Samael, I will say that you are out of this combat and you are chasing after someone.
Very well.
So on our next round, we will see how well you're able to chase down this person. Byron, it is your turn.
Alright, I'm gonna approach that hall.
Okay.
Can
Byron.
I see anything else in that room?
Looking around, just around the corner, you see two Kinku, which appear to be squabbling over corpses.
I'll shoot one. Don't need the squabble.
I will reveal them to you. Whoops. There we go.
I assume their attention's diverted and they don't see me.
Well, let's see. I'll just roll for one of them and I'll take it as both. Nope, they do not notice you coming up.
Yes, no.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
No, I didn't get a result. I didn't see it.
Oh, I apologize. Nope, they did not notice you. That is a hit. You plug one of them at the back of his hooded head, and you just hear it squawking. Ah! Knocking another arrow and striking true. The creature pitches forward onto the ground, quite dead. Brunhild, it is your turn.
I'm going to next to our axe him. And I'm gonna hold my action.
Okay. Zara, it is your turn.
Zara's gonna walk up to Lasser. Lasser, we're here to protect you, but I do have a question.
Okay, so you're taking your action to speak to Lasser? You have 3 seconds, so you have enough to say one thing to him.
Did they take everything from you? Including the stone that we had sold you?
He kind of looks in your direction, and he says, yeah, they got everything. Even that stupid rock.
Do I have time to tell whether he's telling the truth?
I'll tell you what, I will allow it. You can roll an insight check. Oh yes, he's totally telling the truth.
Alright, good to know.
Okay, Zito, it is your turn. You have watched Samael now has run out from this facility and it has appeared to have gone upstairs.
Oh. Zito's gonna walk into the room. He's gonna take a look around.
Okay.
Does he see anything in this room?
Make a perception check. You hear a strange noise coming from the chamber to the south.
Will I be able to see the Kenku from over here?
No, unfortunately, you cannot see that Kinku. However, as you walk past towards the corner, you did catch a glimpse of it within the chamber, and something else which appeared to have been floating closer towards it. You can't quite make out what it is. It's about the size of your head.
Oh, well, Zito's not gonna walk in there by himself.
Okay. Let's see. The Kinku turning around and squawking something out, saying,
Where's the stone? Where's the stone? You've got it. Give it over. Hand it over.
and it now runs into the room. Seeing all of you, its eyes widen, it pulls its weapon, it turns around, and sees you standing next to it, Zito. And attempts to strike you with its short sword. And you just manage to duck underneath as it swings and clatters into the wall. Lasser backs into this little alcove just behind him and appears now to be fiddling with something.
Blasted fools. Think they can attack me? Zesh must have lost his mind.
And Nicholas, it is your turn.
I am going. Did I see Samael run out the door?
You saw Samael run out the door and is gone.
I'm gonna use my
Okay.
movement. And then my action, I'm going to use the sled and jump on the sled and fly after the people.
Okay. Well, it takes an action to pull it out of your pouch. I assume you had it shoved into your... Yeah. So it takes it's your full action to get on it.
Okay, yeah. So I'll be there. I'll pull it out and I'll get...
Correct.
Alright. And the next turn I can go after him. Alright, and that'll be my turn.
Okay. Samael.
Yes.
As you rush out into the streets, the familiar, disgusting streets filled with vermin, off in the distance, about from what you can see, you see one of these birdmen is currently running away and casts a glance back in your direction and is continuing to run. It looks like it's turning south and heading south of Callestan.
How far away from me is it?
Within the mist, it appears to be about 60 feet away from you.
I'm gonna launch a javelin at it.
Okay.
You want me to just make a basic attack roll and you can tell me if it hits?
Make a basic attack roll. Unfortunately, your javelin misses. It goes wide, and you hear the sound of someone yelling,
By the gods! What was that?
as your javelin crashes through a window into a closed business.
You know what? I think I'm gonna go back inside.
Okay, so you're abandoning chasing this creature?
But after I threw that javelin, assuming he was running away from me the whole time I was throwing it at him, right?
He was 60 feet away from you when you threw it.
You know what? I'm gonna keep going after him.
Okay.
I'll spend the rest of my movement moving towards him.
Sure. Your full movement, I believe you said?
Yes.
Okay. So you're able to catch right up behind him. You are right on the edge of his back as he is fleeing through the streets.
Let me see if I have any reactionary abilities. I do not. I will continue after.
Okay.
Yeah, my turn is over.
Okay. Byron, it is your turn.
Alright, I'll fire at the king.
Okay. That is definitely a hit, knocking another arrow. Your arrow arcs through and catches the creature in the side of its cheek where the beak meets the feathers. And the creature pitches over backwards and falls dead.
What does Losser appear to be doing right now?
Lasser appears to be fumbling in his robes. As you look around the corner, you can see he's fumbling in his robes for something.
What are you doing, Losser? Just sit there and relax.
And he turns, hear the sound of your voice, and he says, "Trying to find my blasted keys." Zito, it is your turn.
Zito's gonna peek inside the room and see if there's any more creatures in there.
Okay, well, from where you're at now, you don't see anything. Would you like to go into the room?
I'll move there.
Okay. Looking into the chamber, you can see that the room is relatively wide. There's a connecting area that connects into the next chamber. And you also see a strange floating creature with a central eye and several tentacle stalks. And the moment that you peek around the corner, it stares at you with bloody murder.
Is it doing anything, or is it just staring at me right now?
It's opening its mouth wide, and it is growling at you. And its tentacles are writhing above its head. Are you running back into the room?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Well, you don't want to fight it?
There's a giant green floating head in that room. We're not fighting that.
It's not so much giant, it's about the size of your head.
It's the size of my head.
Yes, or one of Samael's big meaty fists.
It's a floating head. I'm not fighting that.
Sorry, it's your turn.
Oh, sorry. Zara is going to look over and say, "What was it, Zito? What are you running from?"
So there's a floating head in there.
Zara is going to step a little closer behind Zito and hold
Okay.
until she sees something.
Samael, on your turn, you are within grabbing distance of this Kinku who is running.
Did I hit him with a 10?
You just missed him as you swipe down with your weapon. And you can hear the creature is now chuckling and going. And as you're running, I need you to make a dexterity check. Because a horse and a cart has now separated the two of you. It rushes forward in front of you.
How did I do?
And you stumble backwards, and you can hear the pitter-patter of this creature's feet as it begins to gain a little bit of headway in front of you.
Damn it.
And you can hear it squawking and laughing.
Alright, I'm in my turn.
Okay. On the gazer's turn, it floats forward and, staring down, sees Brunhild before it. And Brunhild will watch as this blue snowball-like chunk of ice forms and coalesces and arcs forward towards you. And you just manage to duck out of the way as this blast of cold ice clatters into the wall behind you. And Brunhild, it is your turn.
Sounds like I need to throw an axe at it.
That seems to be your specialty.
Held me so far. One can
Actually,
hope.
right before she does that, can I cast Bless on 3 people?
If you want to take your action now, I'll say yes, you can.
Yes, that's what I'll do. I'm going to cast Bless on Byron, Zito, and Brunhild.
Now, is that
So,
something you have to touch them?
I don't believe so. You press up to 3 people within 30 feet.
Okay.
The D4 plus 2 attack rolls or saving throw.
Okay. I believe there is a status effect that you can drop onto them one at a time.
Ah, okay.
Okay. So, Brunhild, you can take your attack now. That is a hit. Your hand axe arcs, flipping end over end, and hacks into the side of the creature. Big glob of orange goo oozes out of its eye where it catches it right on the edge of the cornea.
With that in mind, I'm gonna use my Action Surge to do it again.
Okay. Unfortunately, that is a miss. Your hand axe flips end over end, and just shy of the creature clatters into the room beyond. Lasser now producing a ring of keys out of his pocket, and he's now going end over end, going, "Where is it? Where is it?" And he's trying them one at a time. In the wall behind him, he slides aside a small little bit of metal, revealing a keyhole, and begins trying keys in it. And Nicholas, it is your turn.
I'm going to get on the sled and chase after the guy that I... Did I see what direction Samuel went?
Make a perception check. Heading out into the alleyway, you don't see any sign of Samael. What do you wish to do?
Samuel, where are the ring?
I'm headed south. Come on, man.
You headed south?
Yeah,
Okay.
come on. Just look for follow the screams.
I'll jump on the sled and move my 50 feet and then
Okay.
50 feet.
As you jump onto the sled and begin heading south, flying up over the lower ward, you can see in the distance Samael, who has picking himself up out of the street off of the gross, disgusting, wet cobblestone, and a horse is pulling a cart just in front of him out of the way. And just beyond, you can see one of those Kinku creatures running off in the distance.
How far is he?
He appears to be about 30 feet away from Samael. Samael is 60 feet away from you.
Can I take a shot with my crossbow at the creature?
Yes, you can. With roll a perception check with disadvantage.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Before you fire. The mist is getting thicker in this area.
This is bad. 8.
Go ahead and make your attack.
Really foggy.
Firing your crossbow, your 2 bolts arc through the air and clatter into the street a few feet away from the Kinku. And you watch as it is now scampering, running away further south.
I'll end my turn there.
Okay. And Zito, it is your turn.
Alright, Gio's gonna go into the doorway.
Okay, as you step around the corner, you see the familiar sight of this creature, this bulbous orb with a sickly yellow eye. You can see an axe hanging out of the side of its face. takes up most of the surface area of its face near its mouth, and it's just growling, and it's trying to grab with its mouth at the edge of the axe and pull it out.
And grab the axe. I am going to cast Magic Missile at 2nd level.
Okay. Alright. All of those are hitting nothing. Got to target a creature first. But I will say that for all intents and purposes, this green bulbous meatball splats. Tentacles falling on the floor. Brunhild's axe clatters to the ground, and it is dead. And you are all out of combat.
I'm waiting for Mr. Blosser to open up the little safe or whatever he's trying to open up. And
Okay. He is continuing with his keys. He appears to have, like, all the keys in the realm. It's a key ring this side that's just loaded with keys. There must be at least 80 keys hanging off of this thing. And he's just, like, cursing and halfling, fumbling for a key. And he turns and he looks around at all of you and he says,
You work with Volkar?
Who?
yes.
Yes, we do. And Zara's quickly searching through the bodies to see if she can find the stone.
make a persuasion check. One of you, I should say. Whoever said yes. With disadvantage, since Zito yelled out no.
I said who?
Oh, I thought you said no. Okay, yeah, go ahead and roll a persuasion.
The straight
Just a
persuasion.
Persuasion. Oh, Byron rolled for you. Well, I'll take the 11 since it wasn't disadvantage. And he looks at all of you. And he says, Well, strange, I've never seen so many of you together at once.
Well, you tell Volkar that I hold him personally responsible for this incident. If it wasn't for them, they wouldn't have found me. They certainly wouldn't have tracked me here. I have no idea what quarrel Zesh has with me. I haven't got into his business, and he sends his Kinku in here, saying they're looking for a stone. The only stone I have is the one that Volkar sold to me. I haven't even identified the damn thing yet.
Well, once you get it out of the vault, we're here to pick it up.
I don't have it anymore. What are you talking about, vault? They took it from me. I assume your companions are chasing after whichever one of them took it.
It's under control.
And he keeps looking at all of you with like an eyebrow raised, and is continuing to try and open up this lock.
Since he's not watching, I'll go back in the stone.
Okay. And with that, we will transition back to Samael and Nicholas. So, first things first, let's see. Nicholas, you would be next in the initiative order. Nicholas, you see this in the distance, in the mist, the Kinku is continuing to run off.
Can I see any part of him?
It's very difficult to see from where you are currently. It has now run its full speed off into the mist, into the crowd. You can see now beyond, south of Callestan, towards the edge of Callestan, into the next area of Dura. You just see these crowds of people that are milling about.
So I don't see him at all anymore.
Oh no, you can still see him. He is
Really
he's obscured.
Okay, as long as I see him just a little bit, no more messing around. Magic missile.
Okay.
No more messing around, Jeremy.
Who's this Jeremy person? What's your range on magic missile? 120 feet?
Yeah, 120 feet.
Okay, and you don't have to roll to attack; it just happens.
Yeah, I hit him.
Okay. You don't even have to roll. Searing beams of light catch this creature. In the midst of this crowd, there is an explosion of arcane energy, and this thing just falls dead. And the moment that he does, you see another Kinku leap down from the rooftop above, run up and grab something from him, and continue running off in the distance.
I'm gonna ring everybody. There's a chase. Need help. And I want to fly towards the guy that just ran off, if I can.
Okay, you can. Your full movement, you can fly. As you fly up, you catch this creature, stares back at you, and you hear it squawk, and it runs into a dilapidated building on the edge of Callestan.
Jerk.
And as it does, you watch it grab that little girl that you saw before and yank it inside. And you can hear her screaming now.
I'm gonna tell everybody on the ring. They got the girl. He's in what building is it? Is it like a store or anything?
It looks like an old tower with only one extra level.
There's an old tower right here. Semi out over here. And I'm gonna fly down to the street level and get off of the sled and
Okay. Samuel, you watch as Nicholas zooms overhead on this chunk of green crystal with a bit of lightning crackling off of it, and you can just hear him barking into his signet ring coming out of your ring. And the rest of you all hear the same message from Nicholas.
You guys head on up above. I'll keep Wasser protected.
Okay. Let's go. And she moves towards that where Nick is. That's the exit.
Correct.
Aaron, you want some help?
That should be good. They may need.
Okay. Zito, you're going after him?
I'll help in the.
And Brunhild?
I'm gonna
Yeah.
go in that direction, but I ain't gonna leave quite yet. I'm gonna stay near the top of the stairs.
Okay, you watch as the rest of your you watch Zito and Zara run out the doors, seemingly heading south. And for the rest of you, I will share a map. So, Nicholas and Samael, do you immediately head into this structure, or are you waiting for the rest of your friends?
I'm heading in.
Okay.
I'll follow behind. Can I go in more stealthily? Semi.
Okay, would you like to get off of your sled?
Yeah. I'll let him go in kind of first. I'll motion him in, then I'll sneak in.
I kind of thought he was going to crash through the second story window like the Green Goblin. Throw a magic missile. It's irrelevant.
So you did not wait for Zara and Zito.
No.
I rushed him.
I tell them where we are. We're south at this tower. We're going in.
Okay. Heading into the tower, Samael and Nicholas, you can see that there doesn't appear like there's been anyone using this place in a while. And you can actually see footprints and the disturbed dust. Immediately within, you can see that the chamber beyond continues on, and there is a spiral staircase that heads upwards.
Come out, come out. I want to talk with you.
And do you head upstairs?
Yes.
Okay. As you head upstairs, Zara and Zito, you manage to head upon this place that was described to you via your signet rings.
Okay. Let's go. What's the plan? Stealth? We're gonna try to move. Sure, we'll say stealthily. I will.
What I can do is I can send my familiar up to the second floor.
Well, if they're already here, we better be there for support. I'm going.
Somehow, Nicholas, you could hear the sounds of this little girl screaming upstairs now.
I'm rushing on in.
Okay. Somehow, as you head up the spiral staircase and enter into the chamber, you can see at the edge of the room, you see the Kinku, who is holding the little girl. And as you head into upstairs, you watch this little girl bite the Kinku on his arm, and it screeches in pain and drops the little girl. And I need you to roll initiative.
You know, Jeremy, I thought you were going to hit me with a really big moral dilemma. In case anybody's wondering, yes, I would have killed that little girl and the king too.
You get 2 souls for 1 strike.
I don't want to see your mom again as soon as she said, but
Alright, so yeah, the rest of you should be rolling initiative as well. So you won't be getting those movements this turn, unfortunately. Until it is your actual turn.
I'm going to move over to this corner too.
I'm gonna go ahead and let all of you know. If any of you ever roll lower than Samael and initiative, you should just quit playing D&D.
Where'd Losser go?
He's still there. Sorry, I just removed him from the combat tracker. Makes it easier for me.
Freak
I
out.
was going to say, did you get my last message?
Yeah. He's still trying to open the door. Okay. Nicholas's turn. Nicholas, you're still being stealthy. You heard the sound of the Kinku squawking upstairs, and it will take your full movement to get upstairs with him.
All right, I'll move up.
Okay. You see the Kinku is now rubbing its forearm where And with its other hand, you can see it is holding a small gray stone. And
Where's the girl?
It is now drawing. The little girl is scampering out one of these arrow slit windows and is attempting to leap out of the window.
Okay, so she is safe.
For all intents and purposes.
All right.
Safe as any little girl jumping out of a second-story window.
All right, no more messing around. I want that stone. Magic missile.
Okay.
There. Die.
Okay. Your arcane blast arc forward and catch the creature. And the stone flips up out of its hands and seems to be suspended in midair above his head. And he's now looking up at it stupidly and trying to reach for it, but he can't. It can't quite catch it. It appears to be floating up above and getting a little bit higher than him. And there's a burbling noise. And from out the arrow slits, 6 of those diminutive, beholder-like creatures come flying out. And the Kinku is now laughing. And he rushes forward at Samael with his weapon. And attempts to slice at you with his short sword. Overhand chop. Just manages to duck out of the way as his sword slices past your armor and clatters into the cobblestone ground. It looks up at you and squeaks. Zito, it is your turn.
Zito's gonna go over to the stairs.
Okay.
What do you think, Sarah? Should we go up or downstairs?
But there is no downstairs. There's only an upstairs.
Oh, it looks like there's a downstairs.
Oh, I apologize. There is a downstairs. Would you like to go downstairs?
What do you think, Zara?
I mean, I would go where the fight is. You want to check it out?
I don't think it'll be wise to go down there by ourselves. I'll go upstairs.
Okay. You do your full movement upstairs. When you get upstairs, you can see that there's a Kinku menacing Samael right at the base, the top of the spiral stair. And you can see more of those strange green meatball-like creatures with one single central eye and tentacles that are now flying through arrow slits above your friends.
And was that my dash action to get up the stairs, or is that I still get a spell?
Correct. It is your dash action to get up there if you did go upstairs.
All right, and now my turn.
Okay. Zara, it is your turn. You just watched Zito run upstairs.
Zara will also use her dash action and go upstairs.
Okay.
And end of my turn.
We'll say you're right here. There you go. So as you head upstairs, you see that you are confronted with the same sight. And just above this Kinku's head, several feet, you can see a familiar stone, which is spinning in midair and floating upwards. Byron, you continue back in the cellar beneath Dandy Mops. You continue to watch Losser, who is now shaking his ring of keys violently, and he just sort of sits down on the ground against the wall, defeated. And he looks at you and he says, "Odd man out, eh? Oh, you're in stealth. Okay, well, he just sits down and he just starts mumbling in halfling.
I'll walk over to him. I'm gonna try and
Okay, what do you say to him?
Why are you trying to flee? You're protected.
I'm not trying to flee, you fool. I'm trying to bring reinforcements in case they bring more.
Well, are you trying to contact? Who are you trying to contact?
I'm not trying to contact anyone. I'm trying to release the rest of my minions. The ones that they didn't destroy.
So you're a true nigger.
And he continues to sort of takes one of his hands and he is now resting the side of his head in his hand and he says,
I need a drink.
and do you do anything else, Byron?
Got it. It's long. Oh, that was when they're running and everything, so.
Okay. Brunhild, you watch from your vantage point on the staircase, you don't really see anything. You can hear Byron talking to the halfling man.
Cool. I'm gonna take this time to collect all of my thrown axes.
Hey, it sounds like a good idea.
It does too, and I'm also gonna mumble that I also need a drink.
Okay.
Why don't you look around?
The gazer above you, Nicholas, you watch as the telekinetic ray, this wash of energy, you just feel it sort of like a vroom, 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 across the room, arcing towards the spinning stone, and the stone begins moving towards the creature. And as it does, the creature is now moving out the window, the arrow slit window, outside. And you can see the stone is following the pathway behind it. Not too far behind, just a couple of feet behind it.
Can I reach out and grab it?
How long are your arms? This thing is currently 20 feet above you.
Wait, the room is 20 feet tall?
Yes, it comes to a dome.
How high are the windows?
The windows are about 6 feet above you.
Could I have reached the creature that was right there that tried to leave?
Well, it's not your action, so unfortunately no. I'm just describing what you see as it goes over your head. So this
saying, is it out of reach? I couldn't reach it at all.
At the moment, the stone is currently dangling above your head, and it looks like it's about to go out the window. And it is Semiel's turn.
I've had enough of this nonsense in here. I'm gonna channel divinity, and I'm gonna strike fear into everything in the room.
Okay. Does that include your friends?
Everything of my choosing. So, everything within 30 feet of me. That includes that gazer out the window, too, if he's within 30 feet of me.
Well, let's find out if he's within 30 feet.
I hope it's enough to make him drop that stuff.
Oh yeah, he's out there. He's definitely within 30 feet.
Alright, I'm gonna pop my dread aspect in and scare the hell out of all of them.
Okay.
They need to make a wisdom save against that, whatever that save is against.
Alright. I believe you can just target them if it's an action on your page. Otherwise, I'll just roll a wisdom save on just one of them.
Let me check. So it comes up under my channel.
Let's see. They rolled a 20. What's your DC?
I don't have a clue.
I'm going to assume it's not a 20.
Probably 22.
Well, we'll just push forward for now. We'll just say that Zara, Zito, and Nicholas, the whole entire room seemed to get a little colder and this horrible energy seemed to pulse out of Samael, and it just seemed to fill the room. Let's see if the Kinku is scared of you.
Of course he is. He's been scared since the day he saw me.
You never know, he might roll a natural 20. He did not. He is currently afraid of you. The creature, which was as easily as it can smile with this long beak, it was clattering its beak, snapping at you after it attempted to slice you with its sword, is now recoiling in horror away from you. Does that complete your turn?
And I am going to run over there and jump out the window.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know. It's 6 feet off the ground, isn't it?
Yeah, the window's 6 feet off the ground.
I'll run over there and see if I can jump up onto the window.
Okay. As you run up to the window, I assume you're going out the one that you saw the gazer was going out of, following the stone.
If need be, I'll step on Nick's shoulder.
Okay. Well, he's stealthing, so you wouldn't necessarily see him.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, make
everybody's easy.
Make an athletics check.
All right.
Okay. As you begin heading towards, attempting to pull yourself up, the muck from the sewers is still caked on your gloves, and your hands slip from the edge, and you clatter down, sheepishly standing and bumping against something. As you turn and look, you see Nicholas standing right next to you.
Damn it, Nick, you tripped me. What the hell?
I didn't mean to, man.
It's cool. Go out there and get that thing.
Is that the end of your turn?
That's the end of my turn now that I've berated Nick.
All right. The gazer staring down at Zito. Zito, you see that familiar sight of what looks like a ice ball forming in front of one of this creature's eyeballs. And I need you to make a dexterity save. Okay. And once again, this chunk of ice arcs forth and scatters on the ground in front of your feet, harmlessly. Byron, what are you doing? Are you still just hanging out?
Well, I'm gonna message. I'm gonna say, hey, this necromancer loser here, trying to summon up some skeletons. What do you want?
Kill him.
I fire.
You fire at him? Okay. Well, you're standing right next to him, so. Are you trying to hurt him, or what are you trying to do?
I did believe I heard kill him. I'm shooting.
You're shooting at him? Okay. Well, let me put him back on the combat tracker then.
Alright. So this is a new start of combat for Brunhild tonight.
Yes, this would be a new start of combat. Byron, after hearing the sound of Samael say to dispose of Losser, your hand drops to your weapon. You knock an arrow. And critically hit him as the arrow catches him in his neck. And Losser lurches against the wall and is now gazing up in horror at you.
That's fine. I'll take my second attack.
Pulling yet another arrow, knocking it. This time plugging him in his chest, almost center mass. And blood gushes out and he coughs up blood.
As a bonus action, I'll fire again.
Okay. And yet another hit. This time the arrow catching him in his gut. And words begin to escape from his mouth as Losser looks with shock and horror in your direction. And he falls over dead in front of you.
Before his eyes close, I'll say thank you.
Byron is not taking no guff off of no fools tonight.
I know.
Jeez.
Not near one.
That's why I like Byron. Me and him killed necromancer.
Zara, make a dexterity save.
All right.
Okay.
7. Can I add a hero point to that?
Go for it.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. You just manage to duck out of the way as a ice chunk coalesces and is hurled at you. Just barely grazes your armor and smashes into the ground. Samael, make a dexterity save.
I have those.
Yes, you do.
At disadvantage.
Ooh boy. That is a natural 1. You just feel this impact smashing into the back of your armor, and you feel a bit of cold in the hole in the back of your armor as these ice chunks stab into that tender area where the hole from your weapon once was.
I could do this all day.
Zito, it is your turn.
Go. Samael, who has the stone?
What?
Well, you can make a perception check, Zito. Zito, you were too focused on these green meatballs with eyes and tentacles to notice where the stone went to. You just know that it floated above that Kinku's head. And you don't see it at the moment.
So I'm gonna go this way.
Okay. There is a green meatball directly above you, about 6 feet above you. And sort of nestled, hovering within that window, staring bloody murder at all of you.
I'm going to cast I don't want Thunderwave.
Okay. Alright, the Gazer succeeds, and so does the Kinku, so they don't get pushed back. Your blast. Samuel, you just watch as a gust, seemingly out of emitting from Zito, blasts the Kinku, and he just sort of, its dead body flops against your armor and then begins rolling down the stairwell.
Ha!
And
Oh, no.
does that complete your turn?
Yep. That was my turn.
And Samael, it is your turn.
That gazer still above Zito's head.
He sure is. That is a miss.
Oh yeah, I roll ones. We know this.
Oh, of course. Nicholas, it is your turn.
I look at the roof. Do I see the stone above me?
It is directly above you. It looks like it's getting ready to waft out the window.
Yeah, I'm not messing around, so I pull the last bead off the necklace and I look at Samael and I chuck it at him. I saved everybody because I can save 4 people.
I will say that it will hit everything except for Gazer number 1, which is pulling the stone out of the room.
That's alright. I'm gonna be.
Okay.
I want this.
Nicholas is like, I'm going for it. I've had it with these flying meatballs. This sounds very familiar. Didn't we end the session recently with something like this?
Yeah, do you have the spell?
Just roll 8d6.
Oh, okay.
I will roll a dexterity save for all of them.
30.
Let's see. What's the, well, they rolled a 17. What's the DC on that?
Probably 14.
Okay, so we'll say they each took 15 damage. And they dead. Nicholas turns around, pulling the bead off of your neck, tossing it towards Samael. There's a brilliant flash, and then an enormous blast of fire. And the creatures are all dead within the chamber.
Can I use my movement and bonus action to jump up and try to grab the stone?
No, that would be your action.
Oh, okay.
That would be an athletics check to jump or pull yourself up.
Okay, so I'll have to wait till.
Okay.
Alright, I'll end my turn there.
All right. Let me just kill all of these creatures that you have destroyed.
I was hoping the Kanku could see it too, but I guess he died before.
No worries.
Did you catch the bee when it fell out of the sky?
What happened?
Did he catch the stone when it fell, or is that the one?
Oh no, it's still floating. He killed everything except for the one that was telekinetically pulling it out of the room. So Nicholas, as the dust settles and the smoke clears, you look up and watch as the stone wafts out of the window, out into the street proper outside. And you can hear that creature snickering outside. And you are all out of combat at the moment. What would you all like to do?
I'll go over to Nick and help him.
Takes her potion of flying and flies after.
Are you two drinking your potion of flying?
Yeah, and I'm going to give Nick a lift up to that window so he doesn't have to use his athletics to get up there.
Okay.
And then he can do his thing.
Zara, as you head to the window, and Nick, you are hefted up out the window, you watch as this gazer is flying straight towards some sort of sky coach, a little bit bigger than the ones that you're used to. And the end of the sky coach, you see a red cloaked individual standing on the brow of the ship. And the gazer is floating towards it with the stone just hovering a few feet away from it. And you watch as the red cloaked figure throws back its hood. And you see the familiar sight of Bryn, the sorcerer. And that's where we're going to end for tonight.
Nice, nice, nice.
Nice, nice, nice.
We always wanted to kill him secretly, so that works out.
Who hired that guy anyway?
Wow.
Wow.